Hi guys, I'm Barbara with Fence News, and today we're highlighting one of Fence News' startup stories, a company that, believe it or not, is 140 years in the making. Rosenbaum Fence Company began as Rosenbaum Hardware and was started by Adolf Rosenbaum shortly after he left Germany in the 1880s in pursuit of work in America. He started working as a tinsman but realized people were in need of all types of materials for repairs for both their homes and their businesses. Thus the beginning of the hardware company. Adolf's grandson Donald eventually inherited the business, but it unfortunately closed after World War II. However, Donald had been smart enough to start a fence installation service, so Rosenbaum Hardware became Rosenbaum Fence Company. Sneak Peek spoke with Elana Preston, Donald Rosenbaum's oldest granddaughter, and really got a sense of exactly how special this family legacy truly is. This is Rosenbaum Fence Company, the 2025 Small Business of the Year. Be sure to click the link in the video description to learn more about this incredible accomplishment. Hey Elana, how are you doing today?
I am wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Oh, great. I'm so appreciative of you coming on and talking to us. We're really interested in what you do, and your business has quite the history. So, you ready to get started?
I guess so. This is my first one of these I've done.
Okay, that's awesome. It's going to be great. Rosenbaum history is quite extraordinary. Over 140 years of success in the making. Tell us about the journey from hardware to fencing.
Well, this started from my great-great-grandfather, who was an immigrant from Germany in 1885. And he left everything he knew, family and everything behind to try to start a life for himself and new beginnings, and to make some money for his family back home. And he was a tinsmith at first, and realized that people needed to find a place where they could buy stuff to build things, and as far as his occupation. So that led to him starting this little hardware company, and then that's what he did. And then there was my great-grandfather and my grandfather, and it was in the 60s that my grandfather transformed the business from a hardware company into a fence company, because at that time, it was after World War II, there was, your Lowe's and Home Depots popping up and all these big hardware companies. And one of the things that the world still needed that wasn't quite out there was somebody that specialized in just fences, because they'd come in and they'd buy the stuff for the fences. They needed this, they needed that. Do you know anyone that can put one up? And so my grandfather had the idea and the vision to take that struggling hardware company and to just focus on fencing.
Now, these years later, Rosenbaum is now the largest independent fence company on the Virginia Peninsula. I don't know where that is, but it sounds really interesting. What has led to this incredible growth?
I think a lot of it is also more so what has led to not necessarily growing in the direction that others would have grown into. See, you start getting on a roll, and people are calling you, and then these little companies become bigger companies, and they're franchising out. They're not even doing it themselves. They don't even have a local office. They sub it all out. And if anything, I think the question is more so, how could you stay true to your roots? Because we never did those things. We're still that mom and pop, small business. I think that was the more brave thing that we've done, really, is just kind of stay true to who we are, and in this community.
You seem to have stayed, like you just said, kind of true to your historical roots, both in philosophy and family legacy. Tell us a bit about the atmosphere and the mission of your company.
I mean, that is a lot of the reason that we have chosen to stay the way we are, because we're all about the customer service. We're all about answering the phone when it rings. We're about following up with somebody, holding hands if we need to for that customer that this is their first time big purchase kind of thing. So I think that staying true to that, being, number one as far as customer service and following it up with the the quality that backs it as well. I think it's very important, and also a big part of that's important to us as far as that atmosphere and that mission is how we treat not only our customers but our employees as well. I mean, we have employees, whereas these other guys, when they're subbing everything out, you don't even know who's showing up. But we've got guys who have been with us, a handful of them, for 40 years. Like, these are people who've dedicated their entire life to build fences with us. They could go anywhere, they could do other things, but to create the kind of atmosphere that makes people feel like, yeah, it's a job, but it's kind of family too. I think that's something special, and that's what's very important to us, and it always has been.
What is your role with the company, and what is a typical day like for you?
So my husband, Sean, runs our company. He's our president. He is our boss and our captain and our true leader. I have the best job though. I am the residential estimator, which is wonderful because I'm in people's yards all day. Most of the time, people with beautiful yards who care a lot about them. I like to plant. I'm a green thumb person, so I love beautiful yards. And also, who wants a fence? People with dogs. That's my people. I have the best job there. So aside from supporting my husband and obviously being the owner, I get to be in people's beautiful yards all day and play with their dogs. And, there's math involved in other things as well. But I just love my job. I think I have the best one that any fence company has if they have a residential estimator. And that's me.
What range of services do you offer?
We're anything and everything fence. We work, from in an industrial level and a commercial level with government. We work with the DIY guy who wants to try to put it together themselves, and they come in and they're like, I think I want that, or what's this over here, and they don't know what they want. We help them. We help the it's the contractor, the handyman who was the one hired, but he's buying materials from us because at least we know what to hook them up with, and we have the quality stuff, or we can get it. And then it's just the everyday homeowner, whether they want to keep their dog in or their kids, or they want to block out their neighbor's eyesore. We sell parts, and we sell the fences, we sell the whole thing, and we do little jobs too. A lot of our competitors are too big for that. They don't even want to mess with the repair, but I think that that's really important, that we're gonna, you just need a post or picket here, we've got you. We'll take care of everybody. So we've got a little something for everyone as far as fencing goes.
When you have the time to reflect on how far your company has actually come, and your family, how far you've come with that, what makes you the most proud?
Obviously, I didn't know my great grandfather, and I didn't know my great grandfather either. He died when my grandfather was just a little boy who could barely see over the counter of that hardware company. But here's my grandfather. Here's me and some of my cousins, and just thinking about him and how much he put into this company. And it really is the company that it is today because of him. Not taking anything away from the people who have run it since then, but he's the one who made it what it is today. He's the one who treated his employees how they've been treated. We do a lot of the same traditions, and when I think about family, when it comes to this business, I think about him, and I think he would be really proud. He died when I was 18 years old, so he never got to see this. He never got to meet my husband who's filling his shoes, and whether or not my own children want to sit in this seat one day, they're 12 and 13, so time will tell, but knowing that he's got family who is in his spot, I think he's really looking down, and it makes me proud.